Aloha, and let's talk about shadow versus light. So there is light and there is shadow, and these are ends of the spectrum of both, the light spectrum and also the color spectrum. But this is also something in a lot of cultures, a lot of traditions, where people refer to as almost like shadow being darkness or evil, and light being goodness and righteousness and holiness. And this is not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about those in that fashion. This is outside of that. It is understanding that in order to experience anything, these are needed. These are a part of our experience. So even if you think about like the rainbow, for example, all the darkness, all the colors, all the tints, all the tones are contained within the rainbow, and that is what makes the rainbow beautiful. If you think about the most beautiful thing you can think about in the world, the most beautiful painting, most beautiful artwork, most beautiful sunset you've ever seen, something like that, it's beautiful because there's shadow. You can only perceive of color right now because there is tone and depth because of shadow. So we need the light and shadow to have this operate within our existence, within the way that this realm of consciousness exists. Now, the other aspect of this is our own light and shadow within, our own shadows and lights that we have within ourselves. And we have our light self, our shadow self. And a lot of this can be viewed more as our conscious self or our subconscious self and even our unconscious self. So Carl Jung talked about this. He was a renowned psychologist, and he would teach and talk about the concept of you have like an iceberg. The part of the iceberg that is sticking out of the ocean is your conscious self. That is like what is in the light. That is what is brought to light. That's what's known. Then you have the subconscious and the unconscious, and those are both within the shadow. They're both things that are kind of operating in the background. This is sometimes like why we do what we do, why we feel the way we feel, why something might trigger us into an emotion, or why somebody's conversation with somebody might make us feel one way, or like why we get along with some people we don't get along with people. That's actually where all of our stories, our labels, our traumas, our hidden gifts, our potential, our unknown things about ourselves are there. And they're running on the background. And so when we become aware, and this is part of what spiritual work is. It's about becoming more aware in life, waking up to the awareness of it, becoming aware of the spirals and cycles within ourselves. And that's what something else Carl Jung talked about, was becoming aware of the synchronicities, which are the patterns in life that help you understand that like this reality has patterns and sequences, and that the universe is not working against you, it's working for you or through you into experiencing. And so becoming aware of our own cycles and patterns is diving into that. So shadow work is really looking at the darkness. It's looking at the shadow of the self. What are the things I don't know about myself? What are the things I've maybe hidden from myself? Why does this make me angry? When someone cuts me off in traffic, why do I get angry? Why does that upset me? Taking a moment to take a breath and then actually look at that and realize, oh, I get upset when someone cuts me off because they're being inconsiderate. And when people are inconsiderate, I don't find that very nice. And when they cut me off, they're not paying attention to where I'm at, which means that they're running the risk of running into me. And they scared me. And so I get scared. And when I get scared, I get a little angry. And when I feel like I'm not being respected or I'm being overlooked, I can also get a little angry. And so then those combine into being very angry about someone cutting me off in traffic because they don't care, they're inconsiderate, or they're ignorant, and that's also a judgment I'm placing on them. But that's also how they make me feel. So that's a story I've told myself. So now looking at that in the shadow, it goes, oh, well, you know what? Maybe they are a little inconsiderate. Maybe they're in a big, huge rush, and only their life matters to them. And you know what? So then it comes slowing on. Silly person, by all means, you must obviously need to get there that much faster. Oh, that's fine. Go on ahead. It's obviously clear that you're having a rougher day than I am. And that might be a little cynical or so forth, but it's reframing it, but it's becoming aware of it. And so once we're aware of something, we can't become unaware of it. And then it can still be a subconscious thing, but we can be aware of the subconscious. We can be aware of our unconscious methods or unconscious patterns. One of the other analogies I like to use a lot of time with people in coaching, it's a really light one, but it's like smoking. Smoking cigarettes. Once you know that smoking cigarettes can lead to cancer, you either have the choice to not believe the information, you have the choice to take the risk anyways, you have the choice to not give a fuck that that's what might happen, you know. And so those are your options. And so, but it's like once the awareness is there, you have to make a choice. And so this is doing shadow work, is bringing an awareness to something so then we can make the choices. So some good questions you can ask yourself is, even in this current moment, if you were to stop, take a breath, why do you feel the way you feel right now? If you were to look at your day, what thoughts have you thought the most today? How have you talked to yourself most of the day today? How did you feel yesterday? Why did you feel those things you felt? Why did you act that way? Is there a story? Is there a reaction? What's underneath of that? Ask these questions, take some time to think about it. You could record journal yourself, or you could write journal yourself, or you could just, think it through out loud. But anyways, this is more about what the light versus the shadow is. And hope you're having a great day. Keep being your awesome selves.